back to my channel. I'm sorry you have to see this all the time, but I still can't figure out the lights. However, today I want to cook the probably most popular Russian soup, and it's borscht. I don't know how else people do call it. I don't know how you pronounce it in English. It's just borscht. And it's a cabbage soup. So it might look like it's difficult, but it's really not difficult. It's very easy to cook, and everyone cooks it in a different way. I believe it's just normal for every family to have their own recipe for even traditional stuff, right? So we cook it red, yeah, I guess. So we cook it in the way I'm going to show you that. And this is, I will make a pork borscht. You can use whatever broth you like. You can even just go with chicken, or you can mix it, or you can have beef, or whatever it is. So what I did this morning was I cooked my broth. It's actually still boiling, which doesn't matter. I will just use it when I need it. So I cooked it just in the way I showed you with my Costco chicken. So you can check it out if you need to know how to cook the broth. And what else will we need? Of course, we will need cabbage, and this is half a head of cabbage, and I would slice it in short, not too long pieces, because then they're just gonna fall off your spoon. In kind of shorter, not super short, you know, whatever it comes out to be, but I slice them thin. You can slice them a little thicker if you want to. So this is half a head of cabbage, and I will have all the ingredients down below. Just check out the description. Also, I prepared already, and this is like you have seen before. It's basically the same palette, right? I feel like, but that's just what people in Russia had. We had tomatoes and potatoes and carrots, you know. We didn't have some funny, weird roots or herbs or anything like that. So I'm gonna use some bell pepper, and this is a mix. Like always, I use a frozen mix. And you can just use 2 bell peppers if you want to, or you can use 1. But don't skip this, because this gives it a certain taste. I do have an onion right here, 2 carrots, and I sliced the carrots, so you can slice them or whatever you prefer to get them small. The onions are kind of cubed. You know, you don't have to pay too much attention to have it all the same, because they will be cooking at the end, so they are going to be fine. I also have 2 tomatoes right here, and I cubed them as well. I will need tomato paste, and this is 3 ounces, so half of a small can. I will need salt and pepper. It depends on your taste, really, and on how you cook the broth, if it's salty already or not. And I have some paprika pulver. So what do you call it? Yeah, you call it paprika pulver here. I guess this is the sweet one. And what else? I have potatoes. I have 6 small potatoes to go with my half a head of cabbage. And like I said, there is also broth, and I use some olive oil in my pot already, and I'm going to wrap this up and put my cam somewhere else so you can see what's going on. Okay, so I will start out with, I have some olive oil in there. If you don't have a pot where you can fry it in right away, just fry it in a pan before you do that. But luckily, I have a pot because I got it from my dearest mother-in-law. She sent me pots and pans. It was so cool of her. However, I'm heating up some oil in there, and once it's getting hot, I will put my onions in there, and I do always start out with my onions. I don't know if there is a reason for that, but that's just what I always do. I will fry my onions first. And also, I will always put some salt onto my onions to fry them. I didn't put much. You can also put the pepper in there. You know, it's a little bit weird to do it with that, but I figured I can just pre-cut everything and get everything ready so it goes much faster and the video is not too long. Every time I watch cooking videos, people manage to do it all in like so quick. I want to be like that. So once they are just a minute or whatever in there, I will also go ahead and put my carrots in there and just mix it all up and fry it for maybe 2 minutes or so before I put everything else in there. And while this is frying, I will just go ahead and get my broth ready. Look who's visiting. Can you see him? BJ! You can also see the meat over there. I don't know if I mentioned this ever, but I do buy my meat on sale and it's always unboned. You know, I always buy it under $1. So I take everything off and I cut it, and then I have bones for my broth. So now I'm going to put the bell pepper in there. Just mix it up and fry it for about 2 more minutes. Okay, so at this point I can just put my salt, pepper and paprika in there. And I will also put the tomato paste in there. I'm still waiting for my tomatoes because they will go in there last. Once you put tomato paste in there, just make sure that you don't burn it, because it's gonna burn really quick and not be yummy anymore. If you have any tips on like how to do a voiceover, because I still can't figure out for my phone. I'm filming on my phone and I'm doing everything on my phone, so if you know how to do it in an easy way, and if this bugs you that you can hear everything, let me know how to do that. I would love to try. So, this basically just needs a minute now. And at that point, I'm putting everything else, or the tomatoes and the leftover from whatever was stuck to my plate in there. And the tomatoes are gonna give a little bit of fluid, so it's not gonna burn anymore. And I did get my wonderful broth. It looks so good. It smells good too. I will just put it in there in a second. But first, I'm gonna go with my cabbage. Just because I don't want to drop it into the fluid. So I will just go with the cabbage first. And now I will just put my broth in there. Alrighty, now put the lid on and boil it for about 5 minutes before you will put your potatoes in there. I don't know if you have seen the meat. I have right over there, it's still on the bone. So while this is boiling and I'm waiting anyways, I will just take off the meat off the bone so we can use it for soup. Okay, so it's been a couple minutes. Probably not even 5. But that's enough because the cabbage is really thin sliced. So I'm going to put my potatoes right in there. Now I have to boil it or bring it back to boil again. So just going to wait for that. And while I'm waiting, I will show you. So you have seen the bones, and I do have pretty big plate full of meat, which I will use for the soup. So if you are struggling with money or your budget on food is not that big, try to always buy your, for us, meat is kind of the main source. We always have meat, right, when we are cooking, or most of the time. So I always buy it on sale. And here in California, pork butt bone-in goes on sale for under $1 a couple of times a year. So I would buy the really big packages of that, and I will cut it myself into everything and anything, you know, meat for stew and a roast and whatever it is. And then the bone, I will always leave a little bit of meat on there so I can make a broth. So basically you are really using the whole piece, and everything you make, if it's a pot roast or whatever you are making, it's always under $1 for a pound of it. So if you feel like, oh, but I want stew right now, and you go into a store, you'll probably pay like $5, $4 for a pound of meat for stew. But you can always freeze it, prepare it, have it like in your small amount, whatever you need for one meal, in your freezer. It's so much easier. You always have it here. You don't have to run out to the store, and it's always on sale in your freezer, right? So this is just as a little tip. Another thing I want to say is for the Russian people who are watching and who does not consider this being a real borscht, so be it. It might not be your real borscht. You know, people love to leave comments and tell you that that's not the real recipe. But I don't care, because this is my real recipe. I always cook it like this, and this is what we call borscht, and it's slightly different in every family. So yeah, I'm going to boil this. I believe it's boiling. Yes, it is. So I'm going to boil this until the potatoes are soft, which is going to be around probably 10 minutes. And while this is boiling, I will clean up whatever is there. My meat, there are two possibilities, two things you can do. Either you put it into a Tupperware, and then every time you have a bowl of soup, you put your meat in there. Or if you know that you're gonna eat the soup quick, you can just put all the meat into the soup at the end of the cooking. The only difference is if you put the meat in there, it will spoil faster. But if you keep it in your fridge and you eat it, you know, if you are gonna keep it for a week, then you probably should not put the meat in there right away. But if you're gonna eat it in 2 days or whatever, nothing is gonna happen. There is no difference. So I'm going to just put my meat in there at the end of my cooking, and I will also make some garlic bread to go with that because it's yummy. And I will be back whenever it's done and show you on my plate. I almost forgot to tell you that you will need parsley and dill, otherwise it would not be a Russian recipe, right? So, however, I sent my daughter to get some fresh for me today, but she had a day off, so I thought maybe she's lucky, but they didn't have any. So I'm just going to use the dry version once again. It's about a tablespoon probably, but I would love, love, love to have the fresh version of that. Gotta go to another store and freeze some again. Okay, can you see that? It's so pretty looking. So there are my doggies waiting, and I will be waiting for probably 10 minutes or so, and then I will be back. Okay, all done. Doesn't that look yummy? Look at that. It is so good. I will have mine with a good old blob of sour cream, of course, right there, and pepper, extra pepper always, but there is meat, there is cabbage and bell peppers and potatoes, everything we put in there, and it's cooked in a yummy broth with pork, so it's delicious. And I'm gonna have some garlic bread to go with that. This is just store-bought. I used to make garlic bread in Germany, but I got really lazy in America because you guys sell everything and it's so easy to make. So yeah, there is that. I hope you enjoyed this video. You know, maybe you want to try. It doesn't look that bad or that hard, right? So one thing, again, I'm not a doctor or something like that. So if you have like any allergies or anything, or if you don't have it, maybe you don't know that you have it, please like talk to your doctor or just research if you are allowed to eat food like that. So, like I said, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give me a thumbs up. I appreciate it very much. And I can't wait to go eat that. So you share, subscribe, enjoy your day. And I'm going to enjoy my dinner. See you in my next video. Bye-bye.